Today's question is how do you balance your ambition with your personal life and your relationships? And I get asked this a lot by people. I mean, a lot of my clients, not all, but most of my clients are very ambitious and looking to leave a real legacy, not just financially for their family, but also for the world. And the question that always comes up for them, what they struggle with, is how to balance that ambition to really make things happen with their personal life and with their relationships. And there's a couple of things here. One is that you want to be very clear about your context that you're operating in. That's always the first thing. So the context is expressed in a mission statement, and if you don't know how to create a mission statement, certainly you can email me or look through my videos, not my videos, but my blogs and my articles, and you'll find some clear directives on how to create a mission statement that really works. And you don't have to work so hard on it. Create something simple, clear, and compelling enough for you. And that's the most important thing. Clear and simple. You don't have to make anything complicated. But once you create a context, the reason why I emphasize the context is it becomes a glue, and it also becomes a filter. So the glue it's a glue in the sense that it keeps only the things that really are consistent with your context. So if your context is about having balance in the first place between your personal and your success, your financial success, and your relationships, then there's a good chance that you're going to follow that context, especially if you apply that context every day. So I'm not talking about a context that, like a mission statement, just stays on your wall and you don't look at it. If you have a context that you're looking at every day, and from that context or that mission statement, example, that mission statement may be having success in your business, your family, and your personal life, just to keep it very simple. Then if you look at that every day, then if you pick your objectives and your projects and your practices, and you make decisions from that mission statement that I just said, then there's a good chance that you have a good glue. In other words, you only have things in your life or your business that make sense to all those three areas: your personal life, your relationships, and your business. So that's one thing, is the context. Hope that makes sense. The second is to make sure that you have long-term objectives, 5 to 10 years, that are in all those domains. That is in your personal life, in your relationships, and with your business for sure. And I try to keep it down to 4 objectives total for your entire life. 4 primary objectives. You can have smaller objectives, but these are the 4 primary objectives. And you may want to have a good mix of these 3 domains: your personal, your relationship, and your business. And I know for some of you, you may have rather complicated and complex lives, and again, I understand that. I'm trying to make a simplified video here so that most of you can understand this. If there are nuances, then you want to come and talk to me, and I can help you sort through those complexities for sure. But the main thing is really create those objectives. If it's 5 to 10 years, or even 20 years from now, create those objectives of where you want to be, how you want it to look like, and you want to be as succinct as you can in describing it. Like how many vacations a year, what you're going to do with your kids, if they're in college, what are you going to spend your time on, how are you going to spend time with them, how much time you're going to spend with them. You want to work through those kinds of things. Try and make those concise goals so that there are not too many of them. The problem is most people come up with like 52 objectives, and it's impossible to measure. It's like, imagine a pilot with 52 things on his dashboard that he's got to look at. Nobody can deal with that. If he's got to keep looking at that on a daily basis or even a weekly basis, that's a lot. So it's the long-term objectives that you also want to look at in terms of trying to keep balance. Now, the meat of all of this, the concrete of all of this, is really in the day-to-day practicing. So you set up your context, you set up your objectives, but unless you practice picking these objectives on a day-to-day basis to focus on, it's very difficult to create balance in other ways. Most people falter on the structure part. a good portion falter already on the contextual part. They don't have any context. So if you create the context and you create the objectives, then the next thing is the structure. Now that's where new habits have to come in place. But if you're looking at your context every day and you're looking at your objectives every day, which is the kind of work that my clients do with me, then there's a good chance that over time your brain's going to catch on and start rehabituating on creating new practices that are more solid than your old practices. The more new practices you create, the more oxygen you put on this future or this mission that you're creating, and less on the past where you used to do old habits. So it's imperative to create that structure and that daily set of practices that you do. Now what I recommend is starting slowly, build slowly, and then accelerate as you go along. And that's usually a better build. And you can find yourself becoming an Olympian in terms of having balance in your life, in your business, in your personal life, and in your relationships. I hope that makes sense. I know there's a lot more details to this, but I hope that gives you enough sense and an idea how to approach this. And of course, I'll be happy to talk with you to iron out the details, which I'm sure there are. I look forward to serving you in the future. Thank you again for listening.